All right, for our latest Rebellion Ranch video, I'm going to show you this area that's completely overgrown. It's in between this alley, this pasture, and a pasture you can see back behind there. It's straight up jungle at this point, Missouri style. And I'm going to go in the back down by the creek, run a little bit of temporary wire through the woods, or netting, which should be interesting after some weed eating, but should be quite beneficial. So here we go. I'm going to start right here at the fence, with the weed eater, right on through. There's a couple of big holes there, and then work up the hill. Got all the fence thrown over there. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so I've got a little path here. Put up the netting fence, walked it all the way over to where the woven wire is still up in this spot. We'll go to this T-post, and then I think we're gonna, we gotta take the best path, but we'll go right up through there, up to that pasture, and we'll actually hook up the power up there. The goats will be able to get in over here because, as you can hopefully see, all the netting, or all the woven wire is down right there, and then that's our main area up there that we're concerned with. And you can kind of see the corner post of the actual pasture, what we call the cow pasture, up there. We'll take a look at that later, but let's get the netting up real quick and keep on moving. All right, after a few shenanigans, I've got the first section of netting up. Just to show you, it's gonna look a little messy right here, but what I did, because we have that woven wire down here, I wanted to end this section on this side of that and then start the next section on the other. So took all the slack, and I need to fix a little bit of this yet, and doubled it back on itself and just set it up. So we'll throw the next section after I get done weed eating that hill up over. We'll start on that side, and then again our power will be up there where we have sunlight. So let's get going. All right, and this is where I make it to the other side, the long fabled cow pasture, the other side of the jungle that we're going to try and eat down. And then the trusty steel weed eater, yeah, you probably can't even see it, made a path through here. I'm going to get back down to that netting fence with the weed eater one more time, go get a section of netting and run it all the way up to here. And again, since we're ending here, I want that last post here. We'll make all that happen. A little bit of advice: we're not using our 48-inch tall permanet. I think it's the 35-inch tall sheep and goat from Premier. It's lighter weight, easier to keep up off the ground, and if you don't want to be frustrated in the woods, keep the netting up off the ground, because it will find every branch. But you just got to work through it, and it's worth it, because I haven't even been at this for a half hour yet, and we've almost got a new pasture set up. So let me start back down the hill with the weed eater just to make it a little better, and we'll get the fence up. All right, so there it is. We got fence all the way through the woods, just a few snags, no big deal. A little interesting at times, but let's move on. I'll go back out through here, gather up the weed eater, and then we'll come back around up here to the pasture, cut a path from where the solar panel and Energizer are already set up, and where the gate is that they're gonna go in to all this beautiful greenery, and I'll show you that next. All right, so I got the zero turn out right here. There's where we left off in the woods. I'm gonna start on this end, and I'm gonna work my way over, because I'm lazy. I've already got the solar panel and all that set up out there for the last section they were in. So I'm gonna work my way over to that corner right there, and we'll run hotline right down here. And then, well, you can't see it, I'll shoot it when I get done cutting this. There's a gate right up by those poles. They're gonna be able to get into all of this right here. And I don't know, with 130 to 140 goats, if it's gonna be enough pressure to do it quickly or not, but we will just do it day by day as they graze it. So let's get cutting, and I'll give you another shot from the other side. All right, so you can see the path I cut. That's to put the netting fence up without having too much pull on the current, and that will take us from our solar panel and Energizer right there. I'll separate that old section so that we just have this one powered, and then our power run here. I'm going to come back behind me all the way over to this fence and then out that direction to hook up what we set up in the woods. The goats will come down the alley, they'll come back through this gate, and then this gate right here will lead them into the wonderland that they want so much, because they just keep getting stuck in the woven wire going after this stuff. So why not give it to them? This project seemed a little bit daunting going through the woods at first, but I'm glad I did it. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be so cool. So let's get this done. Get some goats in here. God bless. So here's the goats. First kind of figuring out their new option. I know the first ones that hit that are going to go crazy. What's up, wee kids? So this is day one. They haven't been in here but a couple of minutes. Some of the goats are getting the idea that they have access. And I'll just keep coming back to this relative spot here. You see the telephone pole for reference, and we'll just keep coming over the next couple days and see how this goes. This is just right inside the gate here. So this will give you a good idea of how thick everything is. And it is a real mess underneath all this brush, but the goats are well equipped to deal with it. So I just hope to see them work some magic. So it's a couple hours after getting this all set up, and just wanted to get more video of just how thick everything is. The goats by now have definitely figured out where all the good stuff's at. So it's just really cool. They're all in there and getting the job done. Okay, so it's the next day. It's the morning of the 27th, and the goats are coming down here. They got a good taste yesterday, so they should go right in. Their protective details down here waiting on them. We are tracking the progress. It's about 5 p.m., a little later than that on the 27th. So technically our second day in, or 1.5 days, however you want to count it. You can see things are starting to get pruned back quite a bit, and as we go forward we'll walk further down in. It's been oppressively hot outside, over 100 degrees, so the goats are still getting adjusted to that, but they're still doing a great job. So we'll keep checking in each day. So here we are about 1900 hours on the 28th, and this is that beginning of that area. Got a few of the goats still down here. Most of them have gone up the hill. I'm going to go ahead and take a walk in here and just show you how this area has really opened up. It's a larger area than it might appear in the still photos. As it goes downhill all the way down to the bottom of this alley where the creek is. And we also have this pasture bit available to them for the purposes of hooking up the electric fence, and so they've got a little extra grazing. So this isn't a prime example of just absolutely focusing the grazing power, but as you can see, all these plants are starting to get worn down, and typically, like that plant, I'm sure they will still continue to graze, but you'll start seeing at the 5 and 6 foot range on all this growth that they're starting to graze it. You know, there's some of these plants they don't care for. A lot of that will get trampled or eaten later. Just some grasses in here, but as we go down the hill, we can see how they have really already opened this up. This was all along the fence line, especially, grown over, and you know, to some extent worse up at the top, but you can start to see this area really open up quickly. And as the days go by here, you know, there's still plenty of vegetation in here, but as the days go by, we can walk all the way down to the creek with minimal problems. Of course, I've got my Anatolian pups in here helping explore, which is actually really good, because one of the fears of going into an area like this is that you put your livestock into where there's a coyote den, but hopefully that's not the case. But as you can see, this is didn't require a lot of grazing on this particular portion, but if I walked all the way down, which I won't do today, I'll do tomorrow, to where we had started the video with the electric fence, which is down that way another 150 feet. There's plenty of it in here for them to trim up, and as the days goes by, they'll get less and less picky about what they're eating, and hopefully we can get a good 7 days graze on here. If I was trying to really clean this area up, I would have fenced them just directly in here and put water in here, but this is just for demonstration purposes of what they can achieve. So we'll get further video tomorrow. So here we are towards the end of the day on the 29th, and goats are getting after it today. Temperatures are a lot better, humidity's lower. You can see they've eaten it down. If you look at the inside of the fence line all the way down, I walked that earlier. They've all eaten all that down, and we'll go for a little walk through it today to give you a comparison as to yesterday. And today I'll try to walk all the way down to the bottom where we put the fence through there and give you a really good perspective. We'll end up coming out where the fence connects all the way at the bottom, which was not easy to walk through before. Zoey, heel. Zoey wants to get her job done, but it's a little early for that. Here. Let's go. You can see all of this forage. This is a good example of them just taking all the leaves off of this stuff, and as they go through, they get the ice cream first and then start coming back after meat and potatoes. And you can see we still have a little of this left, whereas they went after this plant. This is all wide open just like the pasture now, and that was definitely not the case when this started. In years past, when we have not had goats in here, this is completely inaccessible jungle during the spring and summer months. I can already see a bit of a goat trail right here. And I know the deer had a trail down at the bottom when I started all this. Not sure how they feel about all the competition, but typically that fence, hopefully you can see it right there in that lower alley. You can't even on this side, you just can't even see the fence normally. So it's a great improvement. Hopefully I don't find any more snakes and such today. So here we are at the corner, and then right up there where our temporary netting connected to the solar panel comes down. And again, it's just amazing to be able to walk through this right now. It's typically not the case. Good example of them and what they've gotten and what they've left behind. I imagine tomorrow the rest of this particular forage will be gone. And at the beginning of the video, you can go back. This is where the fence is down. And then goats are able to get over it. And we'll go take a look at this area. You'll recognize where we did our initial weed eating. And they have eaten this down considerably. Right in through here. So quite a difference in just a few days. All the way up the hillside, still plenty of green in here. We put enough time on this, I think we'll see that it's going to open up even more. Well, here we are on the morning of May the 31st. This will be the last day that the goats are in this area. As you can see, they did quite an effective job taking out all this vegetation. Had we focused them just in this area with water instead of having this extra pasture area, it would have gone much quicker and obviously more animals. But what's really telling is looking all the way down this fence line here. And I'll go down and do an additional video this evening at the bottom of the alley where we first went through with the weed eater to show you just how clean that is. But just as a reminder, we pretty much started out looking like that. So as you can see, the goats are very effective at transforming property and actually raising its value, its usefulness. I hope this demonstration has proved fruitful to all the people that have watched it. God bless.